Hi everyone.
Welcome to the Mother of All Grief.
Today we are going to be talking about the different ways that we honor our children in heaven and just some of the ways that we keep connected to them and remember them.
Try to keep them alive in our lives as they are.
That's right, for sure. So what are some of your favorite ways that you guys have brought Marin in?
Well, for us, for sure, anytime that we see blue hearts, pandas are thing.
Yes.
Pandas. M's. Those are kind of the big ones for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes you feel connected to just see those little signs. And it's funny because blue is also Tyson's color as well. So anytime you have a little blue sign or something, I kind of always feel like it's also a little bit for me.
Yeah, for sure it is. I agree.
So we've been on this journey for almost 6 years now, and we were just talking about how things really kind of change and evolve over the years. And we really found that some of the ways that we honored Tyson in our early years of grief, how they've changed so much.
For sure. And I think so much, I remember when people are like, oh, I'm doing such and such. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then the next year, I find myself doing that.
For sure.
So there's so much of this judgment that we shouldn't have because we don't know.
Or expectations.
True, yeah.
Right?
And the growth, I think, that just changes as we're like, oh, that didn't feel right then, but it does now.
Yeah, definitely. So for us, we had started, probably the very first thing I did was I created a Facebook page, Tyson's Light, and I wanted a space where I could talk about him and share pictures of him so that, the people on my personal Facebook page, if they didn't want to hear about it, they didn't have to see it.
Because for some people, it's too painful, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I wanted this space where I could just share everything. And
I love that you did that.
And I can't believe, but I've shared our whole grief journey, the ups, the downs, the memories, the signs, all of it. And that has been probably one of the more consistent things that I've continued to do. And Tyson, he tells me what to write. A lot of the times, I'll be laying in bed and I can just feel his presence and hear him being like, you should talk about this, or this happened, you should share that. And so I know that Tyson's light is literally that. It's his light and how we honor him and love him. And
because it feels like it's not your thought, right?
For sure. Most of the things I share on that page are, him speaking through me. Because they're just so wise, and I'm like, I'm not that wise.
I remember when you came to our house with the boys, and you left a Tyson rock.
Yeah.
And I still have it in my kitchen windowsill.
That wasn't on purpose.
Really?
So, okay, so we make rocks for Tyson, and that was another thing we started really early on that has stuck. And we paint these rocks, and it's got his usually name on it, or some wings, or a heart. And then on the back, there's a little sticker that says, if you find this rock, reach out to us, let us know where you find it. And so my oldest son had this rock that he'd painted, and he'd just been carrying it around with him. And so he forgot it at your house.
And here we're hoarding it still.
And so I thought to myself, I'm like, she must think we're such weirdos. Even when we go to friends' houses, we're leaving rocks.
I didn't at all. I was just like, oh, great. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, I was loved it. I don't know. That's funny.
And there you have it.
That's funny that it wasn't on purpose.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
Too funny.
But we love that tradition. And that has probably been a really beautiful creative outlet as well. So for me, I like to do it when I'm alone. I can turn on music, light a candle, and I have these stencils and I paint his rocks, and it just feels like it's almost like a meditative thing. I can just get into the zone, do something creative in honor of Tyson.
Nice.
And then there's the leaving them part, which is so special. I have hundreds of emails from people from honestly all over the world. When we went to Banff, we left rocks there, and people from New Zealand and Sri Lanka and Texas. They found his rocks, and some people took them with them. Some people just moved them. So that has just been my personal favorite way to honor Tyson.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really sweet.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's a really good one. Marin died in August. And so because she had a mitochondrial disease, mitochondrial awareness is always in September. It's like this third week in September, usually. So we honored her pretty quickly after. And because school had just started, so there's kind of a big hole at the school that, Marin wasn't in. So the school always does Green Day. They pick a day. And so this whole mitochondrial awareness is light up for mito. So green lights on your house and wear green shirts and whatever. So it was good. It was that was kind of our first initial thing that we did to honor Marin.
Thank you for green. I loved you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
And we like to, I know it's controversial, but we like to write messages on balloons, helium balloons, and send them off.
That's sweet.
It was just kind of a nice way to show to Ada.
Yeah.
Even, and the other little kids about
yeah.
Sending messages to heaven or.
For sure. I think that's special, especially when you have younger kids, to do something like that. And it's not always going to be perfect, but I think it's still really special.
And there is even if people are oh, I don't journal, but if you're writing them a letter or a little note on there,
for
it just
sure.
feels. I would also, because Marin rode horses, so I would go see Marin's horses. When I was very sad in the beginning and just felt like I needed to be close to her, I wanted to do her favorite things.
Yeah.
So I would go feed the horses some carrots or do those kinds of little things.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was
and
good.
What a beautiful way to honor Marin, doing the things that she loved to do.
Totally.
And I think that could apply to anybody who's lost anyone, right?
Right.
If, your mother loved to knit, to pick up some needles and knit something in her honor.
Yep.
Maybe donate it to a children's hospital, or, if there was a charity that somebody else really loved that has since passed, donate to that charity too.
Yep. So true.
I think just being able to do those things for the people we love, it connects you so much more to them. It's healing.
It is. I remember the first Christmas was hard because I was how are we going to honor her at Christmas time? And I went on a girls' trip with some girlfriends down to the States, and we were in this Barnes & Noble, and I was at the till, and already, as you know, it's hard shopping for less kids at Christmas. And so I was at, they have all the random stuff in the aisle, and there's this adopt a panda.
Oh my goodness.
Literally right there. And I was well, I guess she's going to be a part of our Christmas like this. And so my friend was with me, and she's mine too. She grabbed it and she bought it. But it was just a nice way to be okay, of course Marin wants us to adopt a panda this year.
So I'm curious, how did Marin develop this love for pandas? Where did the whole panda thing come from?
I don't actually know where it started even. That's funny. I should know that. But we, shortly after she got sick, I was selling a multi-level marketing skincare, and my group got around me, and they were so supportive. And so they had set up this thing in Calgary for us to go to the zoo, and at the time the pandas were there. So there was just this whole massive amazing thing, and they had hired this documentary photographer to come follow us. So Marin was just over 2, and this photographer followed us around the zoo day, and we got to see the pandas.
Wow.
And so it was a very cool, and the kids got pandas. I don't know how, but I think she picked her spirit animal right.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They're just so playful.
Yeah.
And then it just became her thing. So anytime that there's a panda, everybody knows pandas are mean Marin. So it's you're getting a sign from Marin if you're seeing a panda, which is awesome.
We even, a friend of mine who loves Marin dearly, she right away saw somebody sharing, selling these panda plants.
Oh,
and she was we need to buy one of these for all of us, and one for Kathy too. And I felt so guilty bringing you this plant to take care of.
I love it.
It's a panda plant.
I still have it. And actually, it was funny because when we were cooking at Christmas, we had a fondue. And it was like we had the window open. And the panda plant has grown quite a bit. It's actually quite big in its little cute little panda vase. And it got kind of cold. And I was like, oh, did it freeze? I saved it. It's okay.
Good.
I think it can handle. But I was just like, that's the sweetest little panda plant. Like, how is there a panda plant?
Well, you have had so many panda signs
Oh my gosh, so
since
many.
then.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
flowers to dogs. And
oh my goodness, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They really are. It's so good. It's so neat to see how she shows up for us. And just Blue, like we never know. Well, even was it? I think you and I when we went to Regina at that time, remember? And there was like the puddles that were in the shape of hearts.
Yeah, the heart puddles.
Yeah,
I love that.
So funny how they just show up for us. We at the school, they had Blue Day for Marin's birthday, her first birthday. That was like on the other side, the whole school, and so we got Rice Krispie cake for the whole kid, like all the kids in the whole school, which is a big school, like 500 Rice Krispie cake.
Wow!
But it was like awesome because again, Marin's favorite thing, and the kids are like missing her there, but different ways that you can just like honor them.
I think that's really special to have that whole school community to get involved. Tell them about the playground.
Oh, the playground. So the principal was amazing and he wanted to do something for Marin, and knowing the impact that she had, like she taught a lot of those kids like how to love these different kids. Mm-hmm. And Marin didn't act like the other kids, and she had just had this whole school in the palm of her hand, really cruising around the halls in her power chair, and the other kids would like ride on the back, and so it was just like she was there for like, well, it's a COVID year, so half of pre-K and then a full year of pre-K and then a full year of kindergarten, so she had been in the halls for quite a long time, cruising around. And so for that first birthday, the school was very sweet, and everyone had written blue hearts of like memories with Marion, or like a message to like us, the family. And I'll never forget one of the ones, it was a grade 5 girl that she wrote. The school's name is Sunningdale, and she said Marion was the sun in Sunningdale, which was just so
adorable.
Like it was just another example of like how these kids like impact this whole environment instead of it just being. Yeah, it was awesome. Anyways, there were so many good ones. But so her principal wanted to do something, and so he was chatting with the kindergarten teacher and her EA, and they're like, well, let's do like a playground piece of like music, because Marin loved music, that a wheelchair accessible musical piece. And so Mr. Osberg's like, yes, let's do this. Like we've got this. And he's like, let's go bigger. What else can we do? And so us as like an SEC, we're going to be building a playground anyways, that we just she was kind of the theme, we could say. And so this playground kind of evolved, and everybody got behind building this playground. And so it's all different shades of blue, and there's pandas, and of course everybody loves them. So if you know Marin, it seems very Marin, and if you don't, it's just super cute.
Yeah.
Which is just so awesome. The kids were so pumped.
I know so many people, including my kids, oh, can we go check out Marin's playground? It's Marin's playground.
I know, and it's so sweet. I love, like, so we had this, when we had this big unveiling, because last year at Halloween, a neighbor of mine was at Walmart, and she found those blow-up pandas, you know, those like blow-up Halloween costumes.
Yep.
She's just like, I think I found Scott's Halloween costume this year. I was like, yes, you did. And I was like, let's get a couple of those. And so that's what we had at this like unveiling of the playground, is these 2 blow-up pandas like welcoming the kids as they came down the slide. So that was super cool.
That is sweet.
Yeah, I feel very privileged that we are able to see Marin honored in that way.
Yeah.
And for her legacy to live on at that school, because I'm positive she's there playing with those kids.
Oh, 100%. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Tyson never got to go to school. He was only 3 years old when he passed away. And so what we ended up doing was, for every year that Tyson would have, so the year he would have went to pre-K, we donated to that class.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we we did that for a few years. We eventually stopped because we started homeschooling our kids. So, but for the first few years, that was a really special way. And the one teacher, she has a whole corner, and she still has his picture up with his name and little fairy lights, and like, I just think it's the sweetest
It is so good.
to be able to honor him, because that's the school he would have went to.
Well, and then you think about like those kids growing up still, like the ones that would have been his peers.
Yeah.
I know that's still something that's hard for us to.
Yeah, it can be hard to watch everybody else grow and move kind of through the grades or the stages of life, and you're just kind of like, I wonder what it would have been like.
Yeah. And just like, what would you be like in amongst those kids?
Yeah.
Like now.
Who would your friends have been?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Another way that we, kind of on the topics of playgrounds, we wanted to have a bench memorialized for Tyson. And so I kind of didn't know like where to start or what bench to pick, but there was this playground at Spring Creek.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a rundown playground, but I just have some of the best memories of Tyson there.
There's good swings there.
Yeah, he really liked like the pardon me, the little hangy bars, and he would dangle off them and he'd go, help, help, and then like on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to dangle and be a daredevil. And so I've gone and like engraved his initials
Nice.
in the little hanging bars. And then, yeah, we memorialized the bench there with his name on it, which was perfect because when I contacted the city, they had told me the price, and it was like, I can't remember, like maybe a couple $1,000.
Is that right?
Because they were upgrading all of the benches. Well, this bench had already been upgraded. And I said, well, could I not just like pay for the plaque to just go on there? And she was like, well, we have to put it on like one of the planks. And I said, oh, can I just pay for the plank? And so it only cost us like $600.
Oh, sweet.
Which is amazing, because otherwise it was like,
That's a lot.
seemed like quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, his bench is still there. And
I didn't know that. I want to go to Tyson's bench.
yeah, well, and my kids call that's Tyson's Park now.
Yeah,
Can we go to
I
Tyson's
love
Park?
that.
So Marin's got a park.
Yeah,
Tyson's got a park.
Good.
Yeah.
But I love that about kids, like just the way that they can just be like, okay, this is purple park, this is yellow park, you know, whatever, however they do it. We leave lots of Marin stickers all around too. Like Marin, we have a Marin's M, and like those stickers are kind of, whenever we see them, it's always like another little glimmer.
My kids have them on their bedroom walls. And we have one stuck on our fridge too.
And just everywhere. I love seeing them on kids' helmets.
Yes.
Whenever, like when they're playing hockey or sports or
Oh,
whatever.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I
on
think
there.
we still have a few that haven't been stuck on anything. I'm going to do that. Get
Yeah,
the
it's
kids to
good.
put that on their helmets.
cute.
That's a great idea.
I've recently started doing it even on like our camping gear, because like you know which one's my chair because it's got the M on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it actually is kind of like a name, label.
I love that.
Yeah.
So pardon me. I want to go back and talk about honoring our kids at Christmas.
Okay.
Because I think that there's a lot there to unpack. There's a lot of these big holidays, right? They can be kind of heavy, and I think that by being able to honor your kids during that time, it can maybe lift things up a little bit, make them a little lighter, you know?
Yeah, because it's pretty sad otherwise. Like we kind of have
Can
to
be,
find
yeah.
those ways, and it's not about like avoidance or like pushing it away. It's just about like how do we actually bring them in comfortably.
Do you buy them presents? Do you not? Do
Right.
you set a place for them at the table? Do
Right.
you
So that's
not?
what we were talking about earlier. So I remember the first year being like, who wants to set an empty space? Like, that's so depressing. Like, we already have a big void. And then the next year, who is setting an empty? We did it. So I'm just like, that goes back to that whole place of like, how do you do it? How do you honor it? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Because it's the big pink elephant in the room. We already know the void is there. So why not just give them a place at the table?
Yeah,
Or light the candle. Or
that's right. Yeah, lighting the candle is a really big one. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I
I do that, so like anytime we have a family supper now, we'll always like, especially at the lake, but we just light that. I got a really cool gift this year from a friend that she had lost her mom, and so people that understand grief tend to like give those really thoughtful gifts. And it's like
Yeah.
at Christmas in Heaven, there was this cute little poem. And it was talking about like, you know, there's an empty chair. And so it had a little like Christmas tree and a little empty chair and a little candle, which was just like nice to have that because then it was just like, she was just always there.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet.
I agree. I think the people who've been touched by grief, they, in my life in particular, they're the ones that tend to reach out the most.
Yeah.
Or the people who had the deepest connections, you know, with Tyson. We get a lot of ornaments, and I have one friend who, she gives me an ornament every single year, and she's always worried, is it too much? Like, too many ornaments? Let me know. I'm like, no, I love it. And I just love, like, some people have a separate tree for their child. I don't. I just have, his ornaments are just taking over our family Christmas tree. But,
which is okay.
But I love it.
Yeah.
And my kids love it too.
Right.
Because there's a memory to every ornament that we have. And I love that. Another thing that
we do, sorry, I'll just
you go.
interrupt you quickly. I didn't initially do a different tree, but after the first Christmas, I had so many ornaments that I did make like a little, it's just like a little 2-footer that sits in the front window, like,
oh, I love
that. It's just like, just a small tree, but it's Marin's tree because she was a light in the room.
For sure.
That I was like, I needed more light in the room, you know? So we had like, it's kind of beside the couch in front of the window, and all of our like memorial ornaments are there.
I think that's a beautiful way to honor.
Yeah, it was good. Last year I had a girlfriend that she makes pottery, and she was making this really cool Christmas tree. And then she painted it. She was making it for herself. And she painted it blue. And then when it had come out of the kiln, it has 2, maybe even 3 little hearts on it. And she was like, so I guess this is for you, Kathy. And she gifted it to us. And so now it sits with the tree as well. Like, there's just so many nice things that people can, I don't know. It's so sweet.
I think what people who haven't lost a child, what they maybe don't understand is how special these gestures and gifts are to us. Not because we like want all the stuff, but it's just like, you took the time, you thought about our family, about our child, you just went out of your way to do this for them because you love them and you love us.
And you're brave enough to like say their name.
Yes.
And to be like, in my day, I was still thinking about you.
Yeah.
Like, which is like really, really kind. And
like
that compassion.
Yeah. And the further like we go in this journey, right? Like almost 6 years, and I still have people, because I can tell you, I have people who don't want to talk about Tyson anymore. They're kind of like, all right, I sat with you for a couple of years. It was hard. I'm kind of done. And that's okay. You know, like, not everybody is equipped to deal with this kind of pain.
Yeah.
But boy, we appreciate the people who make that effort, and
yeah, they're so sweet.
It's just, it means so much.
What about Heaven Day? What about their Heaven Day? How do you honor them?
Okay, so Heaven Day for us,
which, coining that term.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we call it Heaven Day.
Which we totally copied, because I like the way that feels.
Yeah, because I didn't like that their anniversary.
Somebody called it, I've heard people call it an angelversary, which I think is nice.
That's, I prefer that.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what other ones. Their rebirth day.
Oh, rebirth. That's nice.
Their rebirth day.
Just instead of like their death day.
Yeah.
Like that just kind of, I mean, it's important, I think, for you to say that to kids even sometimes, because kids, I've read lots that you're supposed to be very blunt with kids in that way of like the language, because otherwise it can leave them kind of confused.
Interesting.
Of what that means. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Heaven Day. That's what we chose to call it, and we just keep rolling with it. We didn't want to be at home for our first Heaven Day,
which I think is like makes sense, especially considering that's like it takes you back.
Yeah,
where that happened.
There were a lot of painful memories, and so it was a day where I was like, you know what, I'm okay with kind of avoiding everything. Let's just make it light. Let's make it fun. So we've always kind of traveled on Tyson's Heaven Day. Our first year, we sent balloons up to heaven. And I'm trying to think what else we do. We just always tried to do something fun that we knew Tyson would love, so going to like a water park, or we went to like some ice castles one time, and that was really it. I needed it to be fun.
Right.
But things like his birthday, we do a little bit more. Like we always do his most favorite dinner. We set off fireworks because he's a firework.
Yep.
So just trying to find little things that honor him, but don't feel like too much work, because those are heavy days and I need them to just kind of be easy.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What do you do?
So we've just had 2. So both of them we wanted to be at her favorite place. So I didn't want to be at home either. I didn't, like, she passed at the lake at Scott's parents' house, but I just still was like the same thing. Like it's too, I don't know. It's just too hard to be there living in that moment again, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we like to be at her favorite place, so which is camping. And so we booked that. And so the first year we had quite a few friends and family all come out, and we, all released balloons with no strings on, by the way. Like wrote messages. And we had a dance party. Scott had brought this big speaker, and we were dancing to Knockin' Boots. And it was kind of a windy day, but then at the end of the day, it was beautiful. So the kids hadn't been at the beach all day. And so we like sunset on the beach and just were able to like share like our favorite memories of her, and just as a group just to get together. And I know that she would have just loved that. And so we did that again this year, smaller this year. And I think that it'll always change, like whoever is around, and whatever has to happen. But we did that. Her birthday, I think it's just hard to, like, it's hard to, like you say, but you want to do something that they would love. And so we, at the school, we as a gift to Marin, we gift the kids Rice Krispies. Go see her horses, or do something like that in ways to honor her. And like you say, like Marin didn't really eat that much, so we don't really, I think it's just us getting together. Yeah. Is more so that's what we do for her.
That's the beauty of it, is there's so many different ways to honor our kids and the people that we love, and it doesn't have to be, like, it can change. And it's so individual, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, not everybody wants to set a seat at the table. Some people do.
Yep. And you might change your mind and want to as well.
You might change your mind.
I would like to hear other people's ways of that they...
Yeah.
Like, it'd be nice to hear what other people do.
Yeah. Let us know how you honor your loved one, how you kind of bring them in during either the holidays or special kind of events.
Yeah. Well, different milestones for sure.
Good.
Yeah. For us, it's been lots of horses. Like, she loves, and Ada loves riding horses now too. So
that's
when we feel like, I like outside. I don't know. I have my ways of like talking to her every day on my walks or whatever.
That's
just check-ins.
I think that's beautiful.
We like honor. How do we honor? How else do you honor Tyson regularly?
So one of the things we did early on was random acts of kindness.
Oh.
And that was all different things. So we have, this is a really big one actually. We built a garden. It's our healing garden, or memorial garden if you want to call it that. Tyson's garden has been just so healing for us. And I kind of created this little back corner of it, of cut flowers. And so I love to pick bouquets and give them out to sometimes strangers, sometimes friends. And it's just like sharing a little piece of Tyson's love with the world. And the garden, just watching the garden grow, I feel like it's almost like watching Tyson grow and change. So that's really special. We don't do as many of the random acts of kindness anymore. It's something we sort of outgrew. But we still do like the flowers. And for Tyson's birthday. So Tyson's birthday is a week before Christmas.
Right.
So we kind of take the money that we would have spent for his birthday and for Christmas, and we combine it together, and we always make a donation in his honor. So for the first few years, I would like put names into a box of different organizations, and I'd say, okay, Tyson, like, let me know who you want the donation to go to, and we'd pick it out, and that was the one. And there was
Nice.
always a really cool sign that kind of like, or a story, like, oh, it makes sense that he would choose that.
Because like a reason that you were supposed to go there or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was really cool. And so the past few years, we've just kind of stuck with this one company, just getting food out to people who can't afford like healthy, quality food.
I like that.
But I have to share this one.
Okay, wait. I was just thinking that as you said that, though. We did that, too. Did you? Just forgot. We didn't draw names, but Marion's birthday, we did a donation to the Humane Society. Yes, we did do that.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was our very first one, was the Humane Society.
Yeah, Marion loved puppies and
for sure.
Yeah.
I love the idea of drawing names out of a hat, because
it's like it's coming from them.
They get to choose.
Yeah.
And I know you could say like, oh, it's whatever, coincidence, but I guarantee you it is not. Because after my children grew a little bit more, we had 2 double strollers. Like 3 kids in 3 years, like I needed double strollers. And I wanted to gift them to people who needed them.
Okay.
So I put out on one of the, I don't know, like free buy and sell group things, wanting to give this to a family in need, I'm going to be drawing names out. And I had 12 families who had kind of nominated themselves. And so I put all the names in. The 2 families that I nominated both had 3 boys.
No way.
Yes. Nobody else had 3 boys. And it was just like...
That's who you pulled.
That's who I pulled. Pulled the first one out and I went... Oh my gosh, pulled the second one out and I was like, okay, Tyson, I hear you.
Aww,
so that method
so
most definitely works.
I love that.
Yeah.
I won something last week. And so you had to submit online. There's this thing of submit your receipts, win your gifts or whatever at Christmas time. And so I just started submitting mine. And then when I won the next week, I won $100 to that store. Ooh. And I was like, Marin gave me a gift card for Christmas. I was like, this is awesome. Oh, I love that. And I just loved that it was she knows that I love that store. And so it was a gift from her. So I think that it's nice when you can kind of bring them into that where, again, for some people they're like, oh, you're reaching. But I think that is so I was at a workout class a couple days later and there was a lady that was talking about how she just won something and she was so excited because she never wins anything. I was like, oh, well, it must have come from the other side. I wonder who sent you the gift. And she just kind of stopped and looked at me and she was just like, yeah. It was heartwarming, but she probably thought I was a weirdo. But it also like that spin, to be like, why can't it be them having their way with this? I think it's cool.
I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
There are just so many incredible ways of honoring our loved ones. And if you're willing to kind of accept the signs or the acknowledgement, I should say, you do something for them. And then I always find that Tyson gives me something back, whether it be a sign or a song or just a feeling.
Yeah. The songs are really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when we went on a road trip the first summer after she was gone. And I'd never really heard, because of course Marin has her songs. Knockin' Boots is her song. Old Town Road's her song. She's liked her song. But that song by Fleetwood Mac, I Want to Be Everywhere You Are. It was everywhere on that trip. And I'd never even really heard that song that much before. Scott likes Fleetwood Mac, but we didn't really listen to it. And so it was on and we were in a cactus club or, so when you go to the bathroom and then the music is really quite loud when you're in the bathroom. And I was just oh, the song's on again. So I go back to the table and I'm like, Ada, did you listen to the song? And she's she looks at me, she's like, again? This song's always on here. And I was I know, hey? So I just think that it's neat when you can be okay, she does want to be everywhere we are. 100%. She's telling us that.
Definitely. No, I think that's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of the different ways that you honor Marion.
And you too. I think you do a great job. Oh, I love seeing Tyson show up.
Yeah, I think we're both doing a really good job at it. And if you're willing to, put that work in, I think you're rewarded with a deeper love and connection
for sure
with your person on the other side.
Yeah, it's just less lonely.
That's right, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for being here and walking with us today. If this resonates with you or made you think of someone who may need to hear our message, please consider sharing it with them. Please follow us, comment, and subscribe.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and anywhere else you listen to your podcasts at The Mother of All Grief. If you want to share with us your stories of connections with your loved ones or just be in touch, you can do so at themotherofallgrief@gmail.com.
Thanks so much for listening.